Peace, family. This is Tariq. Welcome back again for another day, another episode of Knowledge Corner. All right, today's insight of the day. Your storm is almost over. Your storm is almost over. I get this from the song I Wish It Would Rain by Mayor Hawthorne. This is off of his debut album, A Strange Arrangement, that was released on September 8th of 2009. Thought I was going to go a different direction with this song, as I normally do, but God steered me to go a different direction. So the words that he wants me to focus on: let it storm just for a while. Again, let it storm just for a while. That basically means that whatever you're going through, whatever you are worried about, is not going to last forever. It's only going to be for a while. We all go through trials and tribulations in this lifetime. It's inevitable. I don't care how good things are going for you. There's going to be a time where you're going to have a storm. How do you weather your storm is the key. Some of us never get out of our storms because we are so focused on trying to survive, and we don't realize that the storm is temporary. And a lot of times we add on to our storms, now realizing that it's temporary. I myself am a prime example of that. There's been times in my life where I have added on to my storms. And now I'm at the point now in my life that I understand that. And I realize that there's a time and place for everything. Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verse 1 through 8. There's an occasion for everything and a time for every activity under heaven, a time to give birth and a time to die, a time to plant and a time to uproot, a time to kill and a time to heal, a time to tear down and a time to build, a time to weep and a time to laugh, a time to mourn and a time to dance, a time to throw stones and a time to gather stones, a time to embrace and a time to avoid embracing, a time to search and a time to count as loss, a time to keep and a time to throw away, a time to be silent, a time to tear and a time to sow, a time to be silent and a time to speak, a time to love and a time to hate, a time for war and a time for peace. Yin, yang. There's no way around that. I tell my kids all the time, for every positive thing, there's going to be a negative. And every negative thing you do, there may be a positive out of it. It's inevitable. There's a time for everything. Again, your storm is almost over. You have to believe that God is preparing you for something greater, because you're going through your trials and your tribulations. You're going through your weather right now. You're wishing that rain, can go somewhere, and it will. You just have to believe, and you have to understand that God is putting you through this for a reason. What are you supposed to learn? And for me, that is something that I had to realize later on in life, that I keep repeating certain things in my life because I hadn't learned the lesson that God wanted me to learn. Now I've learned a lot of those lessons. So a lot of those lessons I no longer am repeating, and I'm blessed for that. Some of us don't take as long. Some of us will get that lesson earlier in life. Some of us, it's going to take us some time, to bump our heads and, to fall down and get back up again multiple times in order for us to understand what that lesson is. I go to Surah at Taba or Barat, which both mean repentance or immunity. This is the 9th chapter or surah in the Quran. Also, we're looking at the 51st ayat or verse of this chapter. Say nothing will happen to us except what Allah has decreed for us. He is our protector, and on Allah let the believers put their trust. Again, there's nothing God won't do that he hasn't said was going to happen. If you look at Job, God allowed what happened to Job to happen. And in the end and in the long run, God blessed Job tenfold. He actually received more than what he previously had because he weathered that storm. Again, your storm is almost over. You have to believe that your storm is almost over. I've been going through a storm over the last maybe 6-7 months. And I believe in all my heart that that storm is almost over. I believe with all of my heart that I have learned the lesson that God wanted me to learn. So my storm is almost over, and so is yours. You have to believe. And if your storm is just beginning, realize that and understand that and do a lot of reflecting. See exactly why this storm is happening. See exactly what the lesson is God is wanting you to learn. Because the sooner you learn that lesson, the sooner your storm will be over. So, your storm is almost over. As always, like, comment, share, subscribe, and positive energy activates constant elevation. Peace.